I stumbled across an article that reveals all truth about Ubisoft. When I say Ubisoft, I'm referring to all games under its umbrella: Assassin's Creed, Skull and Bones, The Division, Heartland, etc. Everything has been delayed or canceled. Let me just go over this article, but I'll have a link to it in the description for those of you who want to read it, but I'll just be reading over it myself and telling you my thoughts about this, because now it all makes sense. The droughts, the dry phases, the delays, the radio silence, it all makes sense because Ubisoft has been really going through it for the past 5 years, and we just didn't know. At first we thought it was a coding problem, we thought it was a small team, we thought all kind of stuff, and we didn't know what was going on. Like, what are you doing? The confusion, all of that, it's all going to come together right now because of this one article. And this is getting a lot of buzz on the media, on Twitter, everywhere. This is a real thing, and Ubisoft might actually be in trouble. So let me just start reading this. And comment below, let me know what you think about everything that I'm about to say. It starts off like this. Ubisoft announced earlier today that Skull and Bones delayed yet again. And naturally, we took the opportunity to have some fun with it. But word of the delay came as a part of a much larger update reflecting real trouble at the company. Ubisoft is struggling and has opted to cancel 3 more unannounced projects in order to focus on its existing brands and live services. Their existing brands and live services, which are in trouble themselves. So they delayed these games for no reason. Check this out. The game industry in recent years basically has shifted towards mega brands and long-lasting titles that can reach players across the globe, across platforms and business models. Ubisoft said in the update over the past 4 years has attempted to do the same with its own major properties like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six, and The Division, but it hasn't paid off. Now, in my opinion, I think it paid off. The Division was huge when it came out, and they had a huge opportunity to make it the face of Ubisoft, but they decided to make Assassin's Creed the face of Ubisoft. That's neither here nor there, but because they said it hasn't paid off. So from my perspective, it's completely different. This article gives us an inside scoop. They said games announced during the investment phase of this strategic shift have yet to come out, and its most recent releases have not met expectations. We are clearly disappointed, and this is what the CEO, 𝐤𝐨𝐫𝐽, said. We are clearly disappointed by our recent performance. We're facing contrasted market dynamics as the industry continues to shift towards mega brands and everlasting live games. Everlasting live games. I'm going to tell you what that means in a second. In the context of worsening economic conditions affecting consumer spending. And they go on to talk about Mario, Rabbids, and the underperformance of it in 2022. But it says Ubisoft's troubles run much deeper than a couple of holiday flops. At the risk of oversimplifying things, it just can't seem to make anything happen. Skull and Bones is maybe the highest profile example of Ubi's recent inability to get games out the door. But don't forget that the 3 unannounced projects canceled today come just 6 months after Ubisoft pulled the plug on 4 other in-the-works games, including Ghost Recon Frontline and Splinter Cell VR. And this is what they're talking about when it says everlasting games. Frontline was a particular stinging loss because it was unveiled in 2021 as a military-themed battle royale game. And battle royale games are what they mean when they say everlasting games, where people could have endless experiences and PvP multiplayer matches while playing. Like, for example, that was aimed at presumably giving Ubisoft a presence alongside those games like Call of Duty Warzone, Apex Legends, Escape from Tarkov, and Hunt Showdown. But now, not much more than a year later, Ubisoft is still on the outside looking in at the success of those games with no imminent prospect of getting in on action itself. But why? Why can't they do it? Skill Up. And this is what I was talking about when I said that this article is getting a lot of buzz, because so many people are talking about it. Skill Up, if you don't know, he was an avid Division content creator years ago. So he knows how this Ubisoft worked, and he exclusively covered Division before he made his leap and covers all games. I'm sure you guys know who Skill Up is. He just does reviews and all kind of videos on other games, states of games, and This Week in Gaming. He's a great content creator. I watch him, and I'm sure a lot of you do. He posted this on Twitter. F this. Ubisoft's problems are entirely self-inflicted by upper management alone. They have thousands of talented employees and squander that by forcing them to chase trends and run franchises into the ground. The answer isn't workers work harder, it's new leadership. And this completely makes sense, because I've been saying for a long time that why don't they just continue on with what they have, because they have something great. I don't know if they don't realize it, but this is the problem with trends. When you have only money on the brain, you lose sight of the greatness of things that you have. Just imagine if they focused on a Division 2 and the Division in general and made that the priority, instead of, oh, let's try to make this game, let's try to make that game, let's try to do what Apex Legends is doing. You know, they already had the Battle Royale model in Survival from Division 1 and they cut it out in Division 2. Survival is unique amongst them, but it also gives you that Battle Royale feel. They don't realize that. But here's the thing about Battle Royale games, you know, the everlasting type games. They keep the money trucks rolling between releases because they're usually free to play, right? But then they have microtransactions and things that you can buy, which people always do because those games are hype. You want to look the best with the aesthetics and apparel. You want to show off to your friends, or if you want an exclusive skin, you know, it's just a normal thing when it comes to Battle Royale games. But the efforts on that front for Ubisoft have been lacking. Ghost Recon Frontline, Hyperscape, and XDefiant have all fizzled, while Division Heartland, which you know we've been waiting on, and Heartland, that's a real game. People say, oh, I think Heartland is a fake game. It's not. It's a real game, but this was supposed to be out later this year, and I don't know when this article was printed. Maybe it was printed in 2022, but it's already been almost completely forgotten. Heartland, by the way, was also delayed. It was initially supposed to go live in 2021, 2022. And this is Ubisoft's best bet for a live service hit. Like I was saying, they already had their survival in Division 1 that was close to a Battle Royale system like they have, but with a unique spin on it. People love survival. They play survival to this day. But it seems like there's so much going on with the company that it's going to be forgotten. It's being delayed over and over again, which means that it's not their priority. And they said that it's likely that Assassin's Creed Infinity will be the live service that they're going for. It sounds promising, like they say, but is also years away. You know how many games they've canceled or delayed? This is crazy. Now we're about to start getting into the financial aspect of this, and then we can wrap this up. But as we noted, as I said, in December, Ubisoft can't even seem to make the games it's already made. The Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake that was supposed to be out early 2021 appears to have become trapped in limbo. And the only real news we've had about the Splinter Cell remake announced in 2021 is that the director quit in October 2022. That's a few months ago. The bottom line, cost for Ubisoft is ugly. The company has depreciated roughly $538 million in capitalized research and development expenses related to upcoming premium and free-to-play games and newly canceled titles, which essentially means that money spent developing those games is down the toilet because they were never released, or they were canceled, or they were delayed. So this makes you go into a decline and depreciate financially. And this is what's been happening for the past 5 years. It's also revising its net bookings target for the third quarter of the current fiscal year way down from $893 million to $780 million. Beyond that, Ubisoft is looking to cut another $215 million in expenses over the next 2 years through targeted restructuring, divesting some non-core assets, and usual natural attrition. Look at this chart. And this is what I mean, right? We're coming up on year 5 of the Division 2, right? How ironic that, as it shows on this chart, the past 5 years of Ubisoft's financial state has been on a decline. Just look at the chart, and it all makes perfect sense. 2 years after the Division 2 released is when we started seeing the effects of what we've been going through, meaning the dry phases and radio silence. Didn't have anything to do with the coding problems like we thought, or a small team that can't handle the behemoth of Division. It's simply the struggles of what they've been going through financially for the past 5 years. And this is dangerous, and this is why I say Ubisoft may be in trouble, because the ongoing struggles also make it a tempting target for a takeover. The company successfully fought off a drawn-out acquisition bid by Vivendi in 2018, and the Guillemot family. You know, Guillemot is the CEO, which founded Ubisoft in 1986. But it's getting harder to fight off these takeovers or these acquisitions now that in 2023 it's way down. And they also mentioned something about allegations of sexual abuse and misconduct at various Ubisoft studios, the lessons of which still don't seem to have entirely sunk in. And at the end of this article, they say it's not necessarily a death knell for Ubisoft, but the company is clearly in a bad spot. Turning that around will be a major undertaking, requiring not just cost-cutting measures, but a meaningful change in the community's ability to actually make or release some dang games. All while trying to convince circling sharks to leave it alone while doing so. And that's pretty much it for the article. If you want to read it, I skipped over a few areas on there. The link will be in the description for the full article for you to read by yourself. But all the truth revealed in this article makes me think, oh, this is why all this stuff has been happening. It all makes sense. And it just makes me think, man, we never know what the future holds. We don't know what's about to happen. I have videos that are already made for Heartland because I'm preparing for it to release. But this news tells me that it's been delayed again. You know how many times Heartland has been delayed? It's not on the priority list. And you can forget about the Division 3. I mean, they have Avatar they're working on. They have the Star Wars open world. They have so many things they're working on, all while Ubisoft is in a decline financially. And when you don't have money to produce products, then it's just not going to work. And this is why, as a content creator, I've learned that you can't just rely on one game. For so long, I've been wanting to branch out to other games and just become a multifaceted content creator where whatever I post, people are going to tune in. But it is difficult tapping into the algorithms of other games. The only thing left to do is to start, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen with the Division. And I've been covering it for so long that sometimes I'm thinking, man, I don't feel like making this build or that discussion video. It just unmotivates me sometimes. So I'm glad I was able to actually start a new channel where I'm developing my own project. I'm creating my own looter shooter. It's supposed to be open world. I haven't decided how I'm going to do the map yet, but open world would be great. Thing is with open world is that sometimes you could have a game that's open world with a huge open space with nothing to do. I'm making a concerted effort to not make that happen. Anyways, I've reached a huge milestone now because a year after I actually started, when I revealed this project, now I have a playable beta. And if you click the link in the description, it'll take you straight to the premiere, which is showing tomorrow morning. There you can go to the Steam store page and request access to the game, which will also be available to play in the morning once that video is revealed. So this dry phase and all of this controversy and what's been happening with Ubisoft has been a blessing in disguise. I could have been just doing build videos these past 2 years, but instead I was fortunate to have started this journey to learn game development, and it also gave me some insight as to what goes on in the AAA world and gives me a better understanding of what's happening with the Division and Ubisoft right now. So all in all, I'm happy with where I'm at right now, and I'm curious to see where the Division is going with this, because I have no idea. But make sure you head over to my channel, click the link in the description. Actually, I'll give you a link right here to the video. You can go straight there, you can like the post, make sure you set a reminder so that you can check out what I've been up to and so you can play my beta for Identity Rebels. I cannot wait, man. I'm so excited. This is the hugest news that I've had all year. Actually, this is the most exciting thing that's happened to me in my entire content creation journey. But that'll do it for this one. I'll catch you in the next one. Be right out.